Well, I don't know about the secret to eternal youth, but I do know a lot about Greek mythology. But before that, my name is Miles MacDonald, and of course I know it's a very weird and silly name. Been the bane of my life for quite a few times when I get insults, mainly involving this chestnut. Where is the nearest McDonald's? Oh, miles away. Well, the joke's on them now. Due to EU regulations, everything's measured in kilometres. Sadly, that took me 10 years to come to that comeback. And if I did say it, I'd probably end up with 7 shades kicked out of me if I did say it back then. But hey, hey ho. So anyway, books. Yeah. When I was younger, and especially in primary school, I used to read a bit of Greek mythology, and I was really very fond of Greek mythology, especially stuff like Perseus and Heracles and Theseus and so forth. Now I keep wondering why this sort of stuff isn't on the television anymore. Seriously, it should be on the television. The sheer amounts of weird sex and violence that happens in these stories should be there. I mean, seriously, if you want weird conceptions, Perseus was conceived by Zeus as a form of a golden shower. And Heracles, one of the most famous symbols of masculinity ever in Greek mythology, and it is Heracles, by the way, not Hercules, despite what Disney say. Heracles was bisexual and had many, many male lovers. That's something they didn't seem to cover in the Disney version. I wonder why. So yeah, I'm only going to mention those guys for a bit because I want to talk about one of my favourite mixes of stories, the story of Theseus and the Minotaur. I'm going to be not talk about Theseus much, but I am going to note that though he has a mortal father, Theseus is actually the son of Poseidon. But that's not really that important until I talk about the Minotaur and his parents, King Minos and Queen Pasiphae. I think that's how you pronounce it. Well, apart from anything, King Minos is a son of Zeus, much like Heracles and Perseus, so he's half brothers of them. And Pasiphae, if that's how you pronounce it, God knows how, it's spelled very weirdly. Pasiphae is the daughter of Helios, which if you know anything about Greek mythology, which probably not many of you do, I don't know, I'm trying to be fair, but Helios was the god formation of the sun. So she was half sun. I wonder if the ancient Greeks thought she was hot. Oh, I like that. Yeah. Alright. Well, yes, anyway, King Minos, for some reason, was told by Poseidon to sacrifice this magnificent white bull from the ocean. Now, King Minos didn't do that, and Poseidon was very pissed off over this. So instead, he made Pasiphae go insane and go into a state of zoophilia. And she fell in love with the bull. Yeah, and you can see where this is going, can't you? Well, she asked Daedalus, he will be very important later on in the story, Daedalus to construct a wooden cow to scale with cowhides on, of course, a little hole, you know, for the obvious reasons. Yeah, and it happened. I don't need to go into details. I don't want to give you all nightmares. Yeah, I can stop now. Well, yes, and the act happened. I think it probably 9 months later, the Minotaur was born. Just imagine the look on King Minos' face when the Minotaur was born, and I can also imagine the face on poor Pasiphae when the Minotaur's head was coming out. And in some depictions, it's actually done like a centaur as well. So it's like that, and then the centaur legs out the back. Any woman in there, I feel sorry for you for childbirth, but damn. Oh dear. So yes, that happened. And Pasiphae was actually supposed to be very good at charming, as in magical charms. She put a charm on King Minos. I don't know if this is pre or post the bull. She put a charm on him, so if he ever had any illicit sex with an unofficial concubine, he would ejaculate serpents and scorpions to kill the offending consort. Imagine a doctor's trip. Seriously. What is it, doctor? It isn't syphilis, is it? No, it's what the fuck is that? Why is there a deadly serpent coming out of that? Anyway, after the birth, I'm pretty sure it'd be something like a scene out of Jeremy Kyle. I mean, seriously, you just imagine the bull on the stage, Pasiphae there just zoned out from I don't know what. King Minos there looking just ferociously pissed off. And then just Jeremy Kyle scowling. You know what? I'm gonna say this. Well. And then when you hear well, Icarus loses his wings and falls into the sea. Speaking of Daedalus, he created the labyrinth as well, and is the father of Icarus, of the famous falling into the ocean. He and Icarus was actually locked in said labyrinth, which is a weird little coincidence. And so they escaped, and poor Icarus fell from the sky, but Daedalus survived. And this is actually important later on. When Theseus finally gets to Crete, the daughter of King Minos, Ariadne, falls in love with him, despite the fact that she's related to the Minotaur, her half-brother, half-monster. I don't know. It's sort of a weird feeling, when you think, oh, I'm going to help you, I fall in love with you, you've got to kill my brother, even though he's a monster. They probably had some issues going on there later. I don't know. So he finally kills the Minotaur, despite the fact that being part Zeus, part Helios, technically means that the Minotaur should have been a demigod as well. That's a weird thing. Perseus finally killed it. Theseus. What am I talking about? Theseus, by the way, has some very interesting half-brothers. One of them being Pegasus, from Medusa and Poseidon having an illicit affair before she became a monster, thanks to Athena. And Percy Jackson, have you ever read the book of Lightning Thief? I don't know. So before on the journey home, Dionysus, the god of wine and ecstasy and where it is, not that kind of ecstasy, said to Theseus, you must leave her on the beach, for Ariadne is mine. Fair enough, she is quarter of a sun, so I wonder if she's hot. So this part of the story, I'm sure, when I read in the book when I was a child, was not in it. So when I thought back, I thought Theseus was a bastard, just leaving her on the sea and just in the middle of on the little beach and just sailing off without her. But at least there's a reason for it. She curses Theseus for letting her sing, and then, of course, Theseus' father jumps into the ocean because the sails look like he's dead. Sad, really. Anyway, back to King Minos. Last little bit of story on King Minos. King Minos, after Daedalus, after he escaped, kept searching for him, and Daedalus managed to solve a riddle about how to string a seashell and to make it string like a lyra. Very interesting, and he did it. So the king of an island, I can't remember which name it was now. It was in Sicily. I remember. Tricked Minos and they left him in a bath and then scalded him to death with water. So he died and went to the underworld to see his uncle Hades, and he became one of the judges of hell. There were three of them. One did the souls of the Asians, one did the souls of the Europeans, and King Minos did the deciding vote. That means King Minos was the ancient Greek equivalent of Simon Cowell. Thank you very much. I've been Mars McDonald. You've been great.